Okay, so what I'll do is I will talk you through the parikrama, like the route and few things, and then I'll take some of the questions later. Yeah. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. So first of all, I'm very happy to be back because I have to admit that I was not sure. And I actually uh, had a sense of, I think my time is up. I also wrote a will before I left. So, and in that, I really will encourage everyone to do that because it's, if you have never ever written your will, then it's a very humbling act to do because you are ready to say goodbye to everything. I have done a similar exercise earlier also, definitely during sannyasa, but this time I was like, okay, 12 years up. So, so I was like, okay, I'm ready to go if indeed that is what Shiva wills. So in terms of how did I plan, I had been planning for many years to go. I signed up with a Bangalore-based agency earlier, then a Delhi-based agency. Somehow it didn't work, and then COVID happened. And then this year, I was scheduled to go with a Delhi-based agency. Swamiji was also going to come. But then the Delhi-based agency said that they cannot ensure that he would get the permit because he's 70 plus. So then one Mumbai-based agency, Swamiji got to know about, and he said, why don't you go with them? I said, okay, if you recommend, I'll go with them. And they couldn't get his permit, so then I decided to go on my own. How did I plan for it? Essentially, you're expected to just walk a lot and climb a lot of stairs because your cardio, your heart has to be in good condition. And of course, you have to go through the medical tests in terms of your stress test and ECG and 2D echo and all that. And thankfully, all that was all normal, which was a pleasant surprise to me. So that was like okay, Shiva said, okay, now go. Then what else? Um, then as we were, in the bus, so the agency I signed up with was called Yatra India, and the group had about 35 people. The youngest was 12 years, and the eldest might have been about 71 or 72 years. Most of them women, and there were about 5 to 7 men. Almost everyone has been through a medical fitness certificate, and so everybody's fit to travel and so on. The whole yatra was, I think, about 11 days. And there was a lot of road travel. So, from Mumbai to Kathmandu and then Kathmandu onwards all the way to China. So 2-3 different stops along the way. And then we finally get to Darchen. Then Darchen is, of course, in China, and that's where that's when we start the Parikrama. So while we were going up, the elevation, the mountains, and anybody who's been to Leh Ladakh, it's very, spectacular. Like the landscapes are stunning. And there's a beautiful play of light and shadow at different times during the day. And so the mountains look very, very beautiful. So there's this particular song that stuck in my head and might now be stuck in your head. So let me play the first few seconds of it, okay?
Kailasa
Okay, the lyrics are शिव शिव समा रहे मुझ में और मैं शून्य हो रहा हूँ. So Shiva abides in me, whole and still, and I am dissolving into emptiness. So it was a very, very profound lyric. And alongside that, people were asking, should we carry oxygen cylinders? How many cylinders to carry? What if one becomes breathless? What if one's oxygen levels drop below 70? So the ahankara, which is supposed to dissolve, always abounds with a lot of questions. So anyway, so let me share some. Yeah, the name of the song is Shiva Sama Rahe Mujh Mein. It's a Hindi song. I'll post the link if you want. Okay, so let me share some pictures with you. Before we embarked on the Kailas Parikrama, of course, we had the great fortune of doing the Parikrama of Manasarovar. And Manasarovar is born of Brahmaji's mind. It is a place which is very, obviously has healing properties. It is the highest freshwater lake in the world. The Parikrama itself, the circumference is about 88 kilometers. And a dip in Mansarovar or even sprinkling waters with Mansarovar Jal purifies oneself of lot of papa, they say 100 lifetimes. Okay. And for me, the most delightful thing was Devas. This lake is so pure and so sacred that Devas themselves come to bathe and come to have a dip at Brahma Muhurta every morning. And I did share a little bit about how we saw some of that, Devas coming as stars around 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m., and dipping into the waters. It was most magical to see. So after taking, Ashirvad of Mansarovar, we then proceeded for the Kailash outer parikrama. Okay, so it's basically 52 kilometers of sacred ground, and one walks for almost 3 days around the mountain that the Vedas call the Meru. Okay, is the axis of all manifestation around which the cosmos turns. So, what is very interesting is that the Shiva Purana talks about the 12 Jyotirlingas, their glories, their stories, importance of their darshan, but there is no mention of undertaking Kailasa Yatra. But in Shiva Purana, there is what is called Kailasa Samhita, which is a dialogue between Shiva and Parvati, and it covers many different topics like sannyasa, Shiva worship, Advaita, and so on. But Vayu Purana, Skanda Purana, Itihasa, they all speak of glory and beauty of Kailas. So in terms of the route that one took, okay, so here we were in Darchen. This is a starting point. And so this whole 52 kilometers is to be traveled. Here is Kailasa right in the center. And first 6 kilometers, you can actually drive to what is called Yamadwara, the gate of death. And then, so day one travels about 12 kilometers. Okay, so from here, Yamadwara, all the way through the valley to a place called Derapok. And this is the closest you can be to Kailasa. So here, and there is something called Charan Sparsh. Now they have banned it because somebody died, and rescue over there is very difficult. So one very strange thing I find about Kailasa is that it has a pull factor. It also has a push factor, in the sense that Kailasa draws you to him, but you can't go too close, because your body, our bodies have not undergone so much intense tapasya that they can absorb the kind of Shakti that is there in Kailas. So this was day one. Then I'll tell you more about day two, day three, and all. But just to get a sense of the parikrama, this is of course Yamadwara. So then this is on day one. Like just beautiful valleys, and some streams were flowing, some streams were frozen, howling winds, very cold. So -2 will feel like -5, and then you don't know what to adjust, whether you adjust your neck guard, your nose guard, your ears, what to adjust, you don't know. But anyway, so one travels through this Lachu valley and then keeps going. Yeah, here I am with a couple of Tibetans because of the Saga Dava festival, which celebrates the birth and the nirvana of Gautam Buddha. So the whole parikrama route was filled with Tibetans. It was such a joy to see them. They are the most lovely, gentle, devout people. And just seeing their Shraddha was so humbling, so inspiring. Um, of course, this is on day one only, seeing Kailasa very close. And this is the north face of Kailasa. So I walked for the first 3 hours. Then I got really tired. And then I took the help of the horse for the next few hours. And this is what we reached. And I have to say that while I've had darshan of all the Jyotirlingas and many Shakti peaks and many places of very consecrated vortexes of Shakti, but nothing prepares you for Kailas. The pulsating of the being that one experiences there is like unlike anywhere else in the world. Even the magnetic compasses, people were trying to align, okay, their compass. Nothing works. And such is Shiva's very enveloping presence, and such is his fullness, such is his Shakti. Then, amidst all this strong gusts of wind, dropping temperature, I just spent hours and hours gazing because this was like around 6:30. Then sunset was I think around 9:30. So for 2 to 3 hours, just kept gazing. But as the Hindi song goes, "Dil abhi bhara nahi," so the heart still longed for more because this is just it's just so joyful. Of course, that night it was super difficult to sleep. The blood pressure was way too high. But I told, I think in one of the classes, my blood pressure was 190/90, and the oxygen levels were barely holding up. So that was like 82, 85, and the whole system is buzzing. Not to mention, I have growing chest congestion because of my own foolishness. So they had said that in the few days leading up to the parikrama, do not have a shower. But what shall we do? I have little conditioning of shaucham. So I was like, at least one time I have to have a shower. Okay, I will have a really quick shower. So, but anyway, the body cannot adjust to such temperature changes. So anyway, chest congestion happened. It was very uncomfortable. But like I had said in one of the videos, tapasya is about changing one's relationship with discomfort. And so I have never experienced such sweetness, such love in such discomfort, because one is as close as possible to Shiva's abode. That everything was fine. So if people ask me, how are you? I'm coughing and I'm sneezing and I'm saying, oh, it's all fine. Okay. This is not denial. I'm really fine and I'm exhilarated. Then by day two, because it was an uncomfortable night for most people, some people, of course, with picture of Kailasa, many people decided to return. And day two is like the toughest part of the parikrama. So, we have come to Dirapuk. This is where we saw Kailasa. Then from Dirapuk to Zutulpuk, okay, or this whole distance is for day two, and that's 22 kilometers. So one had to ascend almost 18,500 feet. And Dolmala Pass, actually, Dolma refers to Tara. Okay, the goddess of compassion in Tibetan Buddhism. And for us, of course, she's associated with Devi Parvati, where she did intense tapasya to unite with Shiva. So some part of my journey I did with the horse. Until the horse cannot go anywhere further, you have to walk. And then, just as he pointed out to Dolmala Pass, just tears welled up in my eyes. And this kept happening all the time, every few hours. And it was not like I had PMS or anything, you know. So all I could just say is that I just feel and felt, like as they say, deep to your bones. So I just felt Shiva Shakti very deep down to my bones, maybe to my bone marrow. And these tears were a continuous expression of that being. So if I were to ask myself, was I happy? Was I sad? Was I relieved? Was I exhausted? None of it, all of it, but just it's just being. Okay. Then in Dolmala Pass, and this is because it's very, very tough, it's a steep ascent. And this is one of the pictures. So you can see that the rocks, okay, first of all, there are no even rocks. And then the whole place, very, very moving, very palpable with so much Shakti, my goodness. So it's heavily draped in thousands of these colorful prayer flags. So blue, white, yellow, green, yellow, red, and carrying all these heartfelt wishes, blessings, prayers of pilgrims. And what was very embarrassing for me was that here I am trying to find a foothold so that I can keep my foot and, of course, my trekking stick. And the Tibetans, they are looking for headspace because they are doing Sashtang Namaskar. They are putting their head on the rock. And then once they get there, then they mark that place. And then that's where they keep the foot. Then they do one more Sashtang Pranam. And like that, it takes them weeks to do this parikrama. But such is their shraddha, such is their tapas. Um, I saw people of all age groups, largely young, very few older people, older, I would say like 60 plus. Uh, Most people were pacing themselves. There were some, of course, who were running down, and I was like, to do this parikrama, you need a Tibetan body. I don't know whether any other body of any other nationality is okay. But anyway, this very, very sacred place, Dolmana Pass, and many pilgrims were leaving some personal belongings there because it is a place considered of great spiritual renewal, like symbolizing death, rebirth, and the most challenging section because it was at a height of 18,500 feet. Okay, the highest point. And obviously, oxygen is less and all of that. And then, okay, so yeah, these are all the beautiful flags, and a lot of these are like offerings. So people had made a lot of things, like they cooked a few things, and then they had offered all of this. There were people who were crying, people who had put pictures of their loved ones on some of the rocks, and a lot of praying over there, in Tibetan language. Of course, this is me being very moved. Then on the way down, now it was like descent and very difficult, okay, because there is no path, there are only rocks and there is loose gravel. And some of my group members, they fell down and all. I also fell once, but I have enough padding, so luckily no bones were broken. Then uh, then what happened? Then we saw this Gauri Kund. Okay, it's generally frozen, but otherwise it looks like turquoise blue waters. So Gauri Kund is where Devi Parvati would go to have a bath, and Ganesha was guarding the place, and we all know the story of how he got his head. So very beautiful place there, and of course I was hoping to have got some water from Gauri Kund, but it was all frozen, and then the Sherpa also didn't agree to go down. But anyway, so that was very beautiful to see and be a part of. And then finally, no, this is the end of the thing. And finally, we reached day two, one monastery, and by then all the others had decided to return. This is the last day. This is the last day and the last point, day three, where we covered almost 8 kilometers from Zutulpuk to Chongdo, and that is the official ending point of the parikrama. Of course, over here, I am totally wiped out, and and then I think as I finished, I just did pranam and curled up in a very in a fetal position and just sobbed away. Because for me it was like the completion of so many things. So it was like a completion of a phase of sadhana, like blessings of Shiva as Dakshinamurti, all gurus, been able to do the Jyotirlinga darshans, the Purastarana of the mantra. I've given mantra diksha, Shiva related. I've taught Rudram and many other Shiva texts. So for me, it was like, very nice, coming of full circle of life that has no beginning or ending. So in that sense, it was the completion of a parikrama where Shiva Shakti had again established themselves as the center of my life. That's the whole purpose of a parikrama, right? And yet, if I'm really being honest, I did not do the parikrama at all. They were the ones who carried me. All your prayers uh, helped to carry me. Of course, my legs moved, and yes, my breath, kept going, and yes, my heart did beat. Although my heart was on fire most of the time, but somewhere in all of that, uh, as the Mandukya says, prapancha upashama. So there's a stilling of the world of appearances. And all of this upashamam, the resolution, the dissolution, it was not happening in a class. It was happening on a mountain path, one step at a time, one breath at a time. The path was Shiva, every stone was Shiva, every gust of wind, chilly wind was Shiva, every loose gravel, every cloud. It was his Srishti, his creation, his invitation to surrender. So it was all Vishwarupa in the form of rock and wind and altitude and aches and pains. Destination also was Shiva. Destination was not Chongdo, nor Darchen, nor some return to some base, but that there is nowhere to go, actually, because he has never been absent anywhere, anyway. So the parikrama really then reveals to you that you are never separate from Shiva. Of course, it was very beautiful to appreciate that the palpitations were Shiva and the racing heart, which is not coming down at all. It's just racing and only racing, and the tightening in the chest, and then not knowing whether there will be enough energy, and so much shivering, in the cold from time to time. So all this pulse of movement moving through this borrowed frame all the way it is Shiva. Devotee also Shiva. So Shivoham, that when everything else has been stripped away, then all that remains is Shiva. There's no separate one that's circling him. It's all the way it was grace, and Shakti carried what I could not. So in many ways, the parikrama is a way to live life, that at any given point in time, you only have the next step. It doesn't make sense on day one, you are thinking of day two. How will I do Dolpala Pass? No, useless. Do not disrespect the present. Just focus on that step. That's all. That's all the path is asking for. And it's so freeing, actually, to focus on the present. And the whole point was not to get to the highest point, because sometimes, life we can think of as all these great achievements and arrivals, and okay, I have arrived in life finally, and I have crossed this. But that I am that limitless being that is a witness to all possible steps, small and big, and all arrivals and departures. And that, really speaking, no pilgrim can really say that I did this, because you require another level of grace, which is not really born of personal will. So much moves, and it is not moved by your personal will. So, however the weather turns out, because as I shared, there were 35 of us, and strangely, all the men they returned on day two, because they thought that they would not be able to handle, all this blood pressure fluctuation and whatever else that was happening. And I think part of it is our reaction to what happens to the body. I'm not saying that we should be blind and ignore what the body has to say, but if the doctor has said that you're doing okay, then it's worth taking a chance, and it's worth trusting that I will be able to pull it through, because not because I am great, but because I am deeply blessed. Like, without a doubt, like no kind of doubt, that I am so blessed that whatever needs to happen will happen. And so, although the pilgrim sets out with a plan, the offering is complete. That this is my offering unto you, Shiva. This is my offering of gratitude. And really, the offering is complete. Um, even um, Even though you don't really know how it unfolds. See, it could have swung either way. One may have been able to complete it, not be able to complete it, but whatever it is prasada. And so the jiva that kind of sets out uh, is really like a wave that's trying to do a parikrama around the ocean. But Shiva as Kailasa, he just does not. He's not necessarily rewarding the strong. He's not applauding your great devotion. He just simply is. He's just such pure being, fullness, and he allows you as the pilgrim to stop performing the parikrama and become one with the parikrama, really speaking. So all the way, the way was Shiva, destination was Shiva, struggle was Shiva, silence after the struggle was Shiva. And so then the song, Shiva समा रहे मुझ में और मैं शून्य हो रहा हूँ. It rung very true, and that Shiva abides in me, whole, still, full, and I, as in the ahankara, dissolves into emptiness, because all that is here is Shiva. So Shivoham. So that was what it was all about. Best time to go is generally May. June, July, August, because of the rains, the terrain is slippery, and also the views may be cloudy. So then, Kailasa may not be seen entirely. So you basically have to take a chance. Till mid-June is good. September is also good. Okay, let's look at other questions. Okay. Will I plan this next year? As of now, not yet. Okay. Is there any wildlife at all? I saw some birds, which I couldn't quite recognize. Yaks are there. The yaks are tamed in a way, and they carry a lot of the load, luggage. Didn't you at any time feel like giving up? No, never, never. Because that's what I said. I didn't feel. The way I saw it is like, Shiva, you've asked me to come here. Now it's your job. Okay. Now you take me. I am not doing anything. So I didn't feel like giving up, but yes, I was exhausted in many moments. I was like, okay, I just hope I can find the strength. And I just need enough strength for the next few moments. I'm not thinking ahead. I just need just enough strength. That's all. And that came. That came in leaps and bounds. So that was not an issue at all. Okay, let's look at other questions. What difference did you feel between Mansarovar and Rakshasthal? Huh? So, yeah, one thing to note, I don't have pictures here, but Rakshasthal is another lake which is just 2 or 3 kilometers away from Mansarovar and is not a freshwater lake. It is made of, it has saline water. Um, and it is a place where Ravana did some tapas and all that. So the energy was very dark energy actually, and there was, there were yak heads, like skeletons of yak heads that had been offered, um, on top of different stones over there. Although in terms of beauty and the colors, it looked really stunning. But it was. The energy was very what shall we say, draining. Yeah. Yeah, Charlie.
Swaminiji, how was the so if you could show us that image of your parikrama. So did you do the entire thing or was because I
Yes,
had heard initially they had closed off some portion and people were able to only do half. So but I think they've opened up the entire thing now.
absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were happy with this agency that you went with, the travel agency?
Yeah, they are very good with logistics.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So
They
you
have 2 or 3 routes. You can check them up. It's Yatra India, and the whole trip costs about 3.85 lakhs plus flights to Kathmandu. That's one package they have. They also have another one which involves some helicopter rides, which will be much more expensive, and it goes via Lhasa, so Potala Palace, Shigatse, and all of that. And then I think they have another package which has some chartered flights included and all that, which is of course much more expensive. Yeah.
and did at all these points where you stopped, did you stay in makeshift tents or were there?
No, no, no. We stayed in very fancy hotels.
Oh,
Yeah, really, really nice hotels, all the way till the end, till the parikrama. So the parikrama time, we stayed in a monastery, which unfortunately has been converted into a guest house. And the great luxury was that the bed was heated. And I was like, my God, Shiva, like, what is this? This is a yatra or luxury, like, And everybody else is complaining and they are thinking, oh, this Sadhvi thinks everything is a luxury. Like, what is wrong with her? But I'm like, come on, at that height,
yeah.
you're getting a heated bed. You don't have to shiver in the cold. Like, what is this luxury? You know, just amazing, just amazing. So, yeah, so the monasteries, they do have heated beds because the temperature drops, no, it's
Yeah.
minus.
And the second day, which was the longest day, so it's all by foot.
It's all,
Your
yeah. Yeah, no, you can, if you choose to take a horse, it's better you do that from day one. You cannot do it midway. And then you can decide if you want to be on the horse or not. So I did a combination of both walking and when I was like really tired, then I would get on the horse. But on day two, there is a place like you can go up to a certain point and then you just, there's no way the horse can go. You just have to keep you have to be on foot basically. Yeah, there's no other option.
and your luggage, your bags were all carried by the
By the
yeah.
porters, yeah. So the way it works is that once one gets to Kathmandu, they give you a duffel bag which can carry weight of 15 kgs, and you're strictly given instructions about how to pack and not to pack extra because every evening night you're going to be packing and repacking,
Yeah.
according to different terrain and so on and so forth. And a Gujarati cook traveled with us, Rajasthani cook. So we had Indian vegetarian, very, very good quality food. We had a doctor who traveled with us, of course, from Nepal. But it was good because he would check the blood pressure of everyone and oxygen levels, and partly as a result of that, so many people were asked to stay back because their parameters were all over the place and they couldn't have done it. Then, of course, some people fell ill, and so they had to be given antibiotics and all that. So, in terms of logistics, they are a great company to go with. Um, I'm not sure when next I will go, although I will go at some point in time next year sometime. But if Swamiji is going, then maybe I might not go. So let's see. One will have to work it out. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? How many people completed the parikrama? So out of a group of 35, three of us were able to complete it. Yeah, it was very, what shall we say? It was, I thought it was a weird record, only like 10% completing, But then when I was talking to the team leader, he said that it kind of is representative of many groups. Um, because, and there are so many lessons here to be learned that, like when one goes to China and there are different places, it's so important to conserve one's energy. There were a lot of people who run off for shopping कि oh saga hai never seen, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, like we are here for a certain purpose, let's just keep focused. But if you dissipate your energy, and because one has to really conserve all energy for the main purpose, and if one doesn't do that, then then one doesn't have the energy for the main parikrama. So that happened. What goes on in the mind while doing the parikrama? For me, the mantra. So, so that's what was going on for me. Just lots of joy, just, anything and everything, pretty much. Were there moments that stood out as extraordinarily deep or hard to put into words? Yes, every 2, 3 hours. How would I describe it? Um, I would only describe it as Shiva filling up my being. And then it was just like tears. Just, yeah.
Yeah, Swaminiji, namaste.
Yeah,
Swaminiji, but this is the north side. The other side also, how does this Mount Kailasha looks like this only same?
no, it looks different. So from Mansarovar, we generally see the south side. This is an important point. Most of Kailasa we see only on day one. And day two, you see a little bit of it in the morning, but the rest of the time you don't see it. You might see a little bit of the west side and the other side, but it's not visible. So a lot of people think ki, "Ore, darshan to ho gaya, now we are ready to go." But in my view, it's like I'm not here only for darshan. I'm here to do your parikrama, so I will do that. So the other sides are not, visible on day two and day three. Some bits here and there are visible. Yeah. Okay. Then.
So, Swaminiji, it was Sivananda Lahiri at every step that you had put forward. So that Lahiri prevailed. So our sadhana also with you is taken care of. So I am very blessed for that. And every moment, the day you were passing on the videos, I was visualizing I am also there with you. So it was really the sadhana that you have taken along with, means we have taken along under your spice. I could see that it is just lurking on every part of your body. And we are also Krut Krutya. You are to no doubt Krut Krutya. But we are also in turn blessed because for us, though, this is only parikrama through you. We cannot go now.
That's
At
very
least I
sweet.
cannot go.
That's very sweet. Yeah, I felt all of y'all very strongly, you know. And I really think it's partly your blessings only because of which I'm back. Otherwise, I was not fully intending to be back. Mm, So yeah, thank you all for your prayers. Can I say more about the devatas coming for darshan in the morning at Mansarovar Lake? What was that experience? So it was pitch dark, and and we are waiting, and the people are getting restless because we had a puja to perform the next morning, which was going to be elaborate, like 2 3 hours. So it's like, okay, what to do now? Are devatas, you please come. Everybody is waiting. The stars are twinkling in the sky. There's no sign of them, moving. Then slowly four onwards, they start. So some of them started to go into the water. And everybody's like, oh my God, just some of us, not everyone. And we are shivering there in the cold, and then, trying to see. So, um, was it possible to identify which devatas? No. Yeah, literally, in terms of perception, the stars, it's like the stars are dipping into the water, and then they don't surface. They just dip into the water. It's not like all the stars, okay? Some of them. Some of the stars dipped into the water one by one. There was one which came and kind of circled and did parikrama, and I kind of felt that it's that Devata was saying something or communicating something. There were no sounds coming from them, because it was all very quiet, very, very quiet. And but yes, visually one got to see them moving across the sky and then moving all vertically down into the waters. Yeah. And so what else can one do but just namaha, namaha, namaha again and again? Like how beautiful it is to see that even you want to have a dip in these waters. So how nice. Were there any moments that felt like this can't be real? I think most of it, this can't be real. Like the Shakti that one feels at Kailasa, this cannot be real. Like, what is this? You know, like you think, you wish that, oh, that maybe the body should have been conditioned even more to have absorbed more Shakti. It's that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, very, very, yeah, very, very, very deep, very profound, very beautiful. What pujas did you do and where exactly? Uh, so the company had organized a 2 hour puja for everyone, and puja kits were given to everyone. So that, because Pitra Tarpan or Pitra Puja, Devata Puja, Rishi Puja, all three to be done. And because this is a very sacred place, Mansarovar, the whole Kshetra, the whole place is very sacred, very powerful. So therefore, this puja, the Pandit guided us through the puja. And yeah, how long did it take to absorb? I think I'm still absorbing. How long? You don't know nothing about these things, and it's not something that is born out of your choice. You absorb what you do, whatever is the one's capacity, and then there are a lot of other things that keep happening all in the background, which one is not even aware of. Yeah. But I mean, all I would say is that, it's easy to get enamored and think, oh my God, I'm going to go for this great Shakti to Kailasa. But the Shakti that one has in life or on an everyday basis, what am I doing with that Shakti? Like, Bhagwan will say, like, okay, you are worthy, I'll give you a little more Shakti. First, you please handle and, channelize the Shakti you've already been given. Then, baad mein dekha jayega. So, it's important to not disregard the Shakti that one has already been given. It seems that it takes extraordinary will, Sankalpa, to do this yatra. Yes, it is true. Can an average human hope to complete it? Of course, Here, Priya Singh has completed it. Kavita Shah has completed it. Someone else also, I can't remember who, has completed it. So don't make it out to be something that is so extraordinary. But I will say it is not for the faint-hearted. It's not. It's not. And so if you have any doubts, just don't even think about it. Um, do smaller yatras, build your shraddha, and then if Shiva indeed calls you and you choose to respond, then okay. Yeah. After Dolmaya Pass, was it easier to come down? No, it was super difficult. How was the route? Ubar Khabar. Ubar Khabar means you don't know where to put your foot because there are big rocks and small rocks and loose gravel, and anywhere you put your foot, like you could slip, and you're just so focused on where you are putting your foot, and then there are also people behind you, ahead of you, everybody's at your. So I wore a salwar kameez, so that was easier to walk. Otherwise, I don't know where the robes would have been. Then did you take any no, I attempted to take pictures at that 4 a.m. morning. Nothing, it didn't work at all, at all. Yeah. Okay. So very, very nice to have shared all this with you. Special time, and phone signal obviously worked, Vodafone. That's how I sent messages and videos and everything. Then anything else?
Swaminiji, they say that at this mountain, like time ceases to exist. Like literally, people have come back saying that they come back younger. Like it's just a whole different axis of energy, and I don't know
Yes.
if you felt that as well.
I felt like that, and generally I enjoy chanting. I want to chant often, but here was the only place I did not feel like chanting. I just so much stillness that I just receive, just receive. That's it. So there's a lot to unpack, and there's a lot to return to. There is a lot to discover about Kailas. Yeah. Did I do a lot of physical training before going? Not as much as I would have liked, but good enough. Good enough that was able to do, like, I think it was just 2 months or something, just climbing stairs. That was the primary training. Yeah. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swami.